Hello, my name is Jerry Cherry, and I'm going to give you 3 guitar tuning tips. Number 1, how to tune the guitar properly. Number 2, how to tune the guitar specifically for recording studio purposes. And tip number 3 is a bonus tip, so stick around till the end of the video to see. My mission is to help you improve your guitar playing and take the necessary steps to become a successful musician. So if you like this video, please tap the like button and subscribe. Let me tell you a quick story about what it says in the description about giving a guitar tuning tip to John Mayer. It was, I believe, 2005, and I was working as a backline tech. And what a backline tech is we set up musical equipments, like drum sets and guitar amps, bass amps, keyboards, guitars, everything on the stage for musical performance. And that particular day, I was in a TV studio, and there were 2 guests, unannounced surprise guests. And one of them was John Mayer, and the other one was Eric Clapton. And I was totally blown away. So I shook Eric Clapton's hand and talked for a few minutes. And while I was bringing out the DI boxes to plug their guitars into, apparently I was the stage manager there that day as well, I noticed that John Mayer was tuning his guitar, but he was doing something what I felt was incorrect. And so you always have to be careful what you say to these people. You know, I'm an employee there, and I don't want to offend anybody, but they're human beings too, and I'm right there with him working, plugging his guitar in. So I pointed it out to him that what he was doing was, and if you take a look here at the tuner, say for instance, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make, and I'm always explaining this to people, and the reasons why is because what they do is, say for instance, they're tuning a guitar and say they hit their B string, and say they're sharp, like for instance it's B. You see by the light that it's up too high. You have to go down to the notes, down to B. And what John was doing was he was going down to the note. Okay, so B. Now he's in tune. He's moving to the next string. But what happens is he just went down to the note and he landed on the note. He left it. What we're supposed to do is go below the note and then back up to the note. Because what happens is once you start bending the strings, what happens? Your B is now flat. So, and then you're stuck playing that whole song with a string out of tune or multiple strings out of tune. So the reason is, let's say if you're sharp like this, you have to go down below the note, give it a little tug, a pull, and then back up to the note. Hit the harmonic, back up to the note. Tune it. So now you're still at the B. Now what happens is, if you bend the notes, it's still in tune. Now the reason for that is that when you tune down, you're going backwards against the wind of the string around the machine head tuning peg gear here, just like this. So if I go flat if I go down, you see the thing's rolling that way in the string, and there's no real stress put upon you're going against the gear here. So when you bend it, it's kind of just continuing to pull back on the wind. Whereas if you go up, you're pulling the string around the tuning peg and it's tightening it, in a sense almost kind of locking it into place. So, that's just something that I just learned a long time ago. I mean, most people know this, and he probably even knew that. I'm not sitting here taking anything away from John Mayer. He's an amazing, talented singer, guitar player. I just found it very interesting that he was tuning that way. And he probably knew that, like I was saying, he was probably just humoring me. I just thought that was a story that kind of stuck with me for a long time. And of course, the show was amazing, and they were really, really good that day. So back to the tune right here. As you can see, like, that's some tune right there. I hit a harmonica. I usually go back and forth. I'll start with the fat strings, like that. And I'll go up. So I go up to it. And then I'll go to this A. So it's like a little sharp right there. I'll go down. I'll go back up to it. So it's about in the neighborhood. I'll hit the harmonics. A little flat still. And I'll go back up. Then I'll go back to the B. Which I just messed up before, so it's B. Oh, another thing too is, I think I usually tune with my bridge pickup on. It's a little more responsive to the tuner. Back down to the D, to the G. It's me, J to the C, J to the G. Then I'll just give them a little tug like this again too. So once again, like I was saying, this kind of pulls the winding tight in case there's any loose winding, especially with new strings, when you really have to stretch them out, which is a whole nother video idea. But once you stretch them, you see that the strings will go flat. So check it out again. See how that falls flat right there? E. That back up there. Back to the A. Back to the B. I always hit it twice for some reason. It's just what I've been doing all my life. So flat. Into the G. Okay, and you got it. All right. So, tip number 2. For recording studio purposes, sometimes you have to tune the guitar a little bit differently when you're in the studio environment, because the guitar is not a perfect instrument. There's such a thing called true temperaments, where they realign the frets on the guitar to actually make it more in tune all over the place. But because of just the way that the guitar is built and maybe your intonation or the intonation of an instrument, you'll find that it's not exactly in tune all over the neck. So for instance, you may have a part in the studio where one guitar is kind of going like it's like a... So, and then you might have another guitar part that could be up here high doing the same, something similar, like an inversion of it, kind of like a... So what I usually like to do in those cases when I'm tracking little guitar riffs like that is I'll tune to this. Because if you look on the tuner, if you see, my G sharp, because that little dot right there indicates that it's sharp. That would be like a G, hit a little dot right there is a G sharp. As you see, it's a little flat. That means that my intonation is probably a little bit out, which is another issue, because I hit the harmonic, it's on, but if I fret it, it's a little flat, that means my intonation's off. But, so in the studio, what I would do is, I would actually tune that. I would tune it up. Let's see, I would just go a little bit sharp right there, till it's in. And I would actually tune all the notes that way. If I see the next note, B, I'm hitting a B, I see it's a little flat, I'm gonna go up. And my E, see it's a little flat, I'm just gonna go up. I'm gonna tune to this part. And the way that I'm actually fretting it too. So here's the G sharp, here's the B, E's still a little flat, so I'm stretching it too a little bit. So now, I know that I'm going to be in tune because, for lots of reasons why you want to be in tune, but there may be because of the singers, background vocals, keyboard parts, other guitar parts. Everything needs to be in tune in the song, obviously. But what happens is when I tune for this, now this is a perfectly in tune. I'll check this A too, which seems to be okay. Sometimes you have to balance, and it's kind of like you're compensating a little bit between notes. Which one do you want more in tune? So you have that G, and it's pretty close right there. You got the A, and G sharp is pretty close. So you're pretty good with doing a riff like this. Now what happens is when you're retuning your guitar for this, that means that you may not be in tune other places on the neck, like see, this is a little bit out because I compensated, but it's okay because it doesn't matter. You only need to be in the studio, you only need to be in tune where you're playing. Like this note. Like if I'm playing just that note, that doesn't matter what that note's doing. As long as, which is a little sharp right now, but as long as that E is in, and I'll tune for riffs like that, little licks all over, make sure that they're perfect. And so like if I'm playing like a note, just that I'm going, I'll check the tuner on it, and I'll make sure that it's right on. So that's handy and helpful for a lot of reasons in the studio because you got lots of counterparts and a lot of stuff going on. You want to make sure that they're all in tune with each other. Playing live, you wouldn't want to do that because you just need one good solid tune. You need to be in tune, and it's in live ears. No one's going to notice that little bit, and usually, hopefully, your guitar is intonated well. So, you're playing live. No one's going to notice that live. I mean, the studio is forever. You want to make sure when you track, all your parts are perfectly in tune. Because, if they're slightly off, that little bit of a difference could really throw off a session. It could throw off a vocalist. You could be sitting there trying to mix and going, what is it that's off? I can't really kind of place it. And you have to listen to every track, and you got to see is the bass. And it goes for the bass. If I'm doing even a guitar riff that's might be kind of like a... whatever it could be, I'll tune specifically for that progression sometimes, instead of just leaving it on one general tuning area. Tip number 3, bonus tip that you've been waiting for. Have you ever noticed when you play to your favorite song, you might be slightly out of tune with it? That's because back in the old days when they used to record on analog and tape machines, they used to slow down and speed up the tape based on if the producer would think that maybe the song's too high for them, for their range, and they're struggling. Well, they would lower the pitch. They would slow down the tape machine, so it would slow down the song, and it would make it maybe a little bit easier for them to sing. It would bring the key down, the pitch down. And the same was in the opposite for that. If they felt like they needed more energy, and they wanted the singers to push a little bit more, they would speed up the tape, so it's a little bit higher, and they'd have to push a little bit more. It was a Cars song where they actually sped up the tape quite a bit because they felt too slow and they were already done, and so instead of retracking and re-recording everything, they just sped up the tape a little bit. So they really played it in F sharp, but it wound up being G on the tape because they sped up so much. So the problem with that a lot of times, if you take an in-tune guitar and you want to play to some of these songs, you're just a little bit out of tune because they sped it up. That means that the pitch is a little up or low. So basically one of the good things with this tuner is too, is that you could kind of quickly, you have to find out, where you are with it. But I'll show you, like, for instance, say a song is just flatter, like something like that, like one of the songs you hear on the radio and it's kind of like there, but your guitar is up here. You're still up in normal pitch. So what I would normally do right there to try to find out where I am, like I could take a note below it. If I know that it's flat, I would I'd find the note, and I look on the tuner. I'd say, okay, look, it's 2 cents flat. So now I know, play with that song, I'm 2 cents flat, and I can take all my strings, go down, and I'd go up 2 cents flat to E, 2 cents flat, A, the B rather, 2 cents flat, A, 2 cents flat, G, 2 cents flat, D. I mean, you don't really need to do it this way. You could just tune it, the whole thing. You don't need the tuner to do that. Now stretch them, obviously, because it's going to be flat again. There's a harmonic, like that, like that. Back up to there, A again, B again. And I'll give you another bonus tip on doing this. So that's now. So it's a little flat still. So. Let me know if you found these tips helpful. Let me know if you like this tuner, the TU2. It's, believe it or not, there's a new one called the TU3, and it probably does the same thing. It tunes your guitar. But there might be some new bells and whistles or features on it. Now, if you like this tuner, there's a link in my description. Check it out. And I'll be making a new video every Thursday, so I have some really cool, fun stuff coming up. If you found this video helpful, please tap on the like button and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Check me out on my social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Remember, be cool, be kind, and be cherry.